fun. All I think is that iCarly moment. And like, they do it, they're like, 3, 2. And Freddy's like, oh, silence. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for holding in there while I adjust my camera. Oh, did I remember everything? I think so. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I just started reading this quantum book from what was it called? Not what is it called? Okay. So if you've watched any of my YouTube videos, you would know that I've been talking a lot about this specific released government document that the CIA released in 2013 or some shit that was studied on in like 1980. So I'm doing some of the background research from the bibliography and just seeing what it is that made him feel so confident about everything. And one of them is this quantum book about like Einstein and Bohr and like just kind of like what happened during like the great debates of like quantum theory and stuff like that, and kind of like how they perceived the atom back then and how they, not how they teach it right now. I want them to get to the point on how they chose to teach the specific atom structure that they teach everyone, because from what I understand so far about what they've agreed upon at this point, like in the debate, because like they keep structuring it, like there's like this sentence, they're like, this is fact, and someone's like, oh, this is the research to prove that this statement can't be true, right? There's these theorists, they do that, they theorize, they make statements that they believe are true based on conjecture and what we do know. And so they take they're like changing what an atom should do. Well, how they got there was like a whole nother, like, it's kind of cool. If you listen to the book, it's like essentially really smart people having tangent on tangent onto tangent onto tangent onto tangent onto tangent onto tangent of like quantum theory. And then like all of them being like, they were living in, I can't remember where, I think it was Germany, but there's like essentially the majority of the theorists and like the actual people who put together like the research to prove or disprove a theory, like we're living all in the same like area essentially, and so like they'd have these meetings during this time with like Newton and or who was it? It was somebody's grandson. And there's so many names that he talks about that I'm like, is that this person from our today age? And I haven't done no like Google research because I'm like, I can't be going off onto tangent onto tangent onto tangent, but it is enjoyable reading. Anyways, so they were talking about how there's a structure of an atom, and the atom is like does certain things, right? It turns in certain ways or whatever. And they were all discussing on how, why, and what, and deciding. And there's like there's this theory on the quantum level that this guy was talking about. I think it was Dune, and he like proposed this theory. Everyone decided that it was almost correct, but that like only for a short term period time wavelengths, not long period of time wavelengths. I don't fully understand what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. And so then he came back and was like, you guys are right, it only works for short wavelengths unless, and then he adds like in another theory, and then so everyone goes and like tries and it's like, oh, you're right, and he's like, well, if that's right, then that means, and goes back to old tangent from like most of the people who had started those tangents fucking died. It was actually kind of crazy. It was like describing how each person like found that tangent of like quantum theory discussion, and then like would research something else but somehow answer somebody's like theory, and then that person would be dead because so much time had passed between when that person had created a theory and they had done some research and decided to essentially like not talk about it too much more or do research on it, and then some other guy is born, finds it, is like, I wonder if that affects this thing that I'm curious about, and then essentially answers the question. and they're doing that with like atomic atoms, right? Like, and I'm like into chapter 2.5, maybe 3. So it's not like I've read like a whole bunch of the book. I'm like maybe 30-40% through the book. Like, I'm not being generous with myself right now. So I'm definitely gonna have to read another quantum theory book to truly understand, because really the most that I'm getting out of it is they were like essentially like cutting. First off, they had to figure out how to create atoms. They called it like a black body. It was like fake atoms of some sort, just so they could play with the idea of cutting atoms really small. And like, that's like, I think this is the same stuff that you saw them like bouncing, like we found X-ray lights with, and like they were bouncing like light off of tinfoil to see if it went forward or if it went backwards, and he like talks all about that. And some of it feels really familiar. Like, I'm like, oh, I think I read this in like my high school book, but a lot of it is like new information for me for sure. Like, I didn't know how much work one theory is like just like repetitively like overviewed and like gnawed at and like tested and tested and tested and tested. And Einstein was like, I don't know how I used to imagine like Einstein's life or like any of like these people's lives, but I didn't expect them to be continuously trying to get a job as professors and essentially being told no, even though they were creating like everything we understand today. Like, how is it then that they like were struggling so hard to just have a job when they were literally some of the smartest people of our time? Like, that's insane to me. And I'm like, oh, is that the same now? Or is that different now? Because like, I don't know, are we agreeing that like Elon Musk and Zuckerberg are actually smart people, or do we think that they were just lucky people who understand how the world works? I'm not real sure. So I'm like, who is an Einstein of like our day and age? Because like those people don't just like disappear. Like, you know, like there's so many people every year born. Like, there's just no way that they just stopped being born. So like, where are those people and what are they doing? And then like, I think, is that like Greta? Like, is she considered a smart person, or is she just like a really emotionally intelligent person? There was a woman too, like in the book. I think that's one thing that was really great. In these debates, there was a woman. Why can't I recall her name? I was trying to remember it earlier. I was like, I don't want to forget this because I want to look her up and see what she was up to and stuff. But there was a woman who was like doing some of the scientific stuff and like being on like the decision team for if they agreed or did not agree to a theory. What was her name? I want to remember it now. Oh, let me see. I'm going to try this new trick that I just, let's see. The woman's book that was working with like Einstein and doing. What's her name? Like Nessa Carson. Emily Kurtzen. I don't think so. We'll see. It might come back in a little bit. But yeah, I love that. Also, I did not know that Einstein, was it Einstein? Yes. That Einstein had a fucking lover. Like, what? He got married, and then he had a lover, and then he got divorced, and then he married his lover. Which is kind of cute. Like, smart boys can have romantic relationships too. Don't count yourself out just because you're a nerd. Actually, you should count yourself more in if you think yourself a nerd. Because, like, truthfully, they seem to have more interesting lives. But, because he literally, oh my gosh, that was, like, I'm learning everything about Einstein. There's so many things that I thought I knew about him, but I was like, I did not know this guy at all. Like, they did not teach us anything worth remembering in school. Or maybe it's just been that long since I've received the information. But does it like work like that? Do you just like, I guess if you don't use it, you lose it, right? I don't know, but this quantum book has been fucking great. You should hit up your local library, because that's what I have. I use Libby. I just went to like my local library and I got a Libby app, and then you put in your, what is that called? Your library number, and then it allows you to get any Audible books. This is not, what is that called? This is not monetized. This is not advertisement, by the way. That's just what I use. You can use Audible too. I think they have it, but I'm pretty sure you have to buy books. Whereas the reason I use Libby in my local library is because I still get the audiobooks for free. And who does not love a good audiobook for free? You do have to return them, and you only get 21 days to read it. But I find that that's kind of kept me on my toes and continue to read. The biggest problem I seem to have is that, like, even though I love reading and I love learning, it's the consistency in doing so. You know, having to pick up the book, having to spend the time going, meh. And, like, it's just not my jam. My brain, like, I think internet, first off, right? Like, my brain's a little from, like, the 15 seconds, 10 minutes, 30-second intervals of anything. And, you know, I already think I had, like, a short attention span. But we ain't gonna talk about that too much, okay? Because I do my best. That's all anyone can do. This is my second coat. Yesterday I did the first coat, but, I didn't do the, what's this called? The trim line here. I'm not trying to be too perfect with it, because I'm gonna come back in with a white and, fix it up before I finish, just to make it all crispy. I've been enjoying using food words to explain how I feel about things. Like greasy or crispy or crunchy. I don't know why, but it's definitely the mood. The MMO mood. The vibe. It has been the vibe. Mama, I have ADHD. Can't you see I'm dying on the inside? You're lying on the outside. Okay, anyways, no need to be weird. That's a joke. I'm always weird. And if you ever think that I'm gonna be normal for anyone, yeah. I tried, okay? I tried for my parents, and it didn't work. It did not work. I tried for business, to create, some MLM stuff. I'm getting way off topic. This is not what I was supposed to be talking about. What are we talking about? The Quantum book! I do like that book a lot, so far. I'm excited to read it. I almost was maybe I won't stream, because, I was going to stream yesterday, but streaming and painting alone is not, anyone's favorite thing, right? Who likes seeing me hunched over like this? Anyone? Anyone enjoying that? Because not I, said the fish. Not I. Anyways. Oh, but I hadn't really listened to much of the book. I was 30 minutes in yesterday, and I was I can't sit here for an hour painting, talking about 30 minutes of a book. I'm a few hours in, and there was so much information. I feel I'm gonna have to reread the book. I'm gonna end the book, I'm gonna forget the beginning of it. That's what's gonna happen, to reread it to remember the whole book again. It's very nice, though. It is an audiobook and a readable book, so I might even buy it. That's how much I've enjoyed it so far, and I'm not even done. I'm really stoked to get into some of the other books too, the pendulum ones, because there was this book talks a little bit about some other theories and stuff going on, but it doesn't really get too much into them if it doesn't follow where he's going. Which makes sense. It keeps it a little more manageable to understand, because they're talking about quantum theory, right? I'm no quantum theorist. The one thing I do know about quantum theory, though, is apparently Einstein really regretted not taking his math seriously when he was going to school, because he felt he was behind because of it. So I'm just saying, if you want to be a quantum theorist, you better be good at math. Or to learn it. I kind of like math. It just depends. Don't give me some weird, unnecessary, it means absolutely nothing. Like when they're like, if Billy has 4 watermelons and his elephant eat one, and I'm like, okay, where the fuck is Billy? Why the fuck does he have an elephant? Can we make this a more realistic, like, everyday Joe life moment, please? And not trying to be some philanthropist child. Philanthropy. I actually like that word. It's kind of like the word moist. I don't know why, but when I say it, it feels good. Do you have that about words where, like, they feel good to you? Oh, by the way, another thing that I learned about quantum physics is these people were all, the reason why they got into it, because they believed in God and they wanted to prove his existence, okay? So I'm just saying, you gotta be a special breed of human to want to get into quantum physics. Also, I think there's going to be a new wave of quantum physics happening soon. I need to look into it more. It's more of a field and it's like of a knowledge-based situation here. But I feel like it's going to because like it's been a hot minute. And when it got big again, it was the same thing. It had been a while since like anyone had done any real research, like real physical research and change to the theories and stuff that was going on in the quantum understanding of everything. No one was really wanting to. There were like people studying, but there wasn't really like any pushback. And then I can't remember who it was, but someone was like, it's a sad day when like people get complacent, right? And I just feel like we're in a huge era of everyone is getting a little complacent. So I can feel that like there's gotta be a pushback, like in all, like not just physically with anger and stuff like we've seen though, but like with mental, real mental like smarts, like some really like coherently understanding humans out there that are really trying to process and see the world for not only what it is but what it could be, and not just like in the future, but like our immediate, like soon. And so I just can't see how like quantum theory won't be something that's in that, especially since we're seeing a rise in like spirituality and people being interested in like a better dating world and like relationships and social stuff like that. I think people are, it's not like the biggest thing yet, but it's kind of becoming a fad, you know? Like, it's almost cool and hip to be spiritual and to go to therapy and, you know, to be healed. Not that that's a thing, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know, it's just like a thing that's happening, but you know the thing. I know you know. Don't be sassy with me over there. Because I'm just gonna give you the eyes. Okay? And I think we all know what that means. And if you don't, stick around long enough and you will get the eyes. Nah, not the crazy eyes either. I do the crazy eyes 24/7. I don't need to threaten that. That is my life. That is my bread and butter. That is my kingdom. Kingdom of life, kingdom of lights. Can't you see we're going somewhere new? Can't you see? 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 Okay. But on a really cool, like, otherworldly factor of life, I'm not the best painter, but I'm doing my job, okay? And it's not even a job. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do this of my own volition. You can do it. You just need to keep on going. Just keep on going. we'll just keep on rolling. Okay. Anywho's, what was I saying? Quantum something? We were talking about quantum stuff. That's all I'm trying to talk about this whole time, actually. Because I wanted a, what is that called? A topic at hand. Did you know that a long time ago, by a long time ago, I mean like 30, 50 years, ladies used to have like gatherings where they would talk about politics and books they were reading, and they actually started like a long time ago, right? Because women were supposed to not be smart. But apparently it was very normal for women to actually be well educated. Even when they weren't like rich, like they were educated in their social system, you know? So however smart your entire system was, would be your average smartiness. But then they stopped being popular. I think they might have stopped being popular sooner than that. But anyways, and so that's something that I'm like, that would have been really cool to experience as like a young female growing up in this world, was like a woman's only safety community place where you could talk about anything and everything. Because like I think guys have that. I think men generally have that. And if you're a woman doing something like that, you're typically in like a male dominated communication space. So I think there's some things that, you know, guys don't want to say in front of females, and females don't want to say in front of guys, and like it's just awkward, you know? Just awkward to talk about some things. Not everyone wants to be in on it. Not everyone wants to know. And so, I feel like I don't like the idea of like always separating people into these categories of men and women, because I think with today's age and everything that's happened, like women must act like men and men must act like women, and the social responsibilities have kind of turned in on each other. Normally, I think women were the emotional ones that taught people how to control their emotions, and part of the communities where they'd show people how you should be treating each other. And even if they weren't the most popular people, they were still the people that like you looked up to, you know? You don't really have that. I think that's why people are kind of going back to church again. You always see those influxes. I think I saw that like 6 months ago. It was like there was a high influx of people going back to church. I think they were having problems like in Texas or something with like capacity. Which I think is like very interesting. I think like having community is a huge thing that we've lost. So on that topic, trying to go back to quantum stuff, I feel like the quantum, like the theorists and like those kind of people, the scientists and whatnot, the professors and all of them, that's like a very specific community. I feel like one thing I've been learning a lot this last year is I kind of saw the whole world as one community, right? And I questioned how it functioned properly. I questioned, well, I was like, well, no, everything functions like this. It's just one fucking huge ass community that doesn't know how to talk to each other. But I think as this last year, one of the biggest lessons that I've been really learning about the world and like life, even more I think has been presented here in the quantum book that I've been reading, is how much community is important. Like, was it Newton or was it Einstein who said that he liked being alone, or he enjoyed being by himself or something like that, and like it was like something a part of like his like ending life words or some crap. And the book creator remarked, he was like, though in his younger years like before he was like old, like 60s, like he said in his younger years he was always surrounded by community. And so I just think it's something that like people who have kind of take for granted, and they're like, oh no, I like being alone, because they do like having their free time, but like, or like their like separation, but like we're human, we're supposed to we're a social species, we're supposed to be around each other. So it's like, I feel like community is something we're gonna see foster and grow a lot. I was very surprised, like, starting the book, how much, like, it was about, like, all the people knew each other somehow, or they knew, the person that was their father, right? Like, a lot of these people, like, there was some guy, I can't remember his name right now, but, like, his mom and his dad were, like, famous theorists or something, right? They did something in the community, went to a specific school, got specific degrees and stuff. And, like, he didn't really follow in their footstep at first. And he did some other things, and then he decided to go back to school. And when he went back to school, all those people remembered him there. Like, they knew of him, and, like, that was one reason why they let him into the school, was because of, like, his parents' prestige and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's, like, crazy. That's community right there. Like your parents were successful in doing something, and then, like, the community remembered and, like, supported you when, like, you know, somebody who didn't have that probably didn't get in that year because he did. So, I feel like it's very important that people are taught at a young age how to have, like, macro, quantum community, right? Like, not just, like, understanding, like, you're part of the whole, but, like, understanding that the parental relationship is important, your parental friends relationships are important, and that all of those provide to you in some way, shape, or form. Whether you're good with your parents or not, truthfully. Truthfully. So it's like, because, like, your parents should be talking good about you, right? Like, if your parents are talking bad about you, then, you know, this doesn't matter. This don't matter, because fuck them bitches then, right? That's your parent. Your parent has no right to talk shit about you. I'm sorry. Kids do some crazy-ass stuff, and you can have to cut them off. I understand needing to cut people off for your own safety and well-being, but that's your kid. You should never talk bad about your kid. You raised them. They're literally you. Like, that's how I feel. I'm sorry. I'm a little aggressive about it. Personal reasons, okay? It's my ego talking. I'm just salty. Anyways, like those relationships that other people foster, that are your relationships that you foster, like, affect you. And I think there's a way, I think it's, like, just kind of subliminally taught, like, right, like, you're, like, when you're younger and you're in these communities, and, like, they've already, like, people are kind of already been building them, like, there's just, like, this natural know-how to do it, but I think we're starting to see some people, like, come into, like, YouTube, TikTok. I've been noticing them pop up, talking about community building and stuff, getting more popular, I guess. I'm sure there's people already in it, but just, like, popularity and what is that called, like, face front, or your social status, your social standing, and then in the Ethernet world, matters a lot for people seeing you, getting your name and everything out there, and all the stuff you're doing, getting the support. Which, like, I think that's, like, a huge thing. I've noticed that, like, with K-pop artists, like, them caring about how they treat their supporters is such a different culture than the one here in America, where, like, supporters are kind of seen as, like, subby, or, like, they have, like, a word for it when you do it for someone who's not as popular. Oh, what's that word? Why can't I remember? Anyways, yeah, when you, like, give a lot of your attention to somebody, there's this, not scrub, I can't remember right now. That's okay. Anyways, yeah. There's a lot of information. I'm like trying to think of the quantum book and just like all the different thoughts I had during like the first half of the reading, and like how many thoughts I had like at the second half, because it was an hour for the first chapter and like an hour for the second chapter. I think I'm like an hour and a half in or something, 2 hours and a half in or something like that. So like I'm into the third chapter right now. And right now they're just talking a lot about the structures of atoms and just how it works. And well, am I almost done here? No. Why can't I? Talking and painting is not my strong suit, apparently. I can, like, talk and do other stuff. I think I've been doing pretty good so far. I should have set a timer so I know how long I was going for. Ah! Not the floor! Got it. I love it. I like it. I want some more of it. I tried so hard. I can't get enough of it. Okay. Anywho. Let's see. I'm gonna have to do the, there's like some white streaks. I'm trying to do this in multiple coats so that way I, use up all the paint in the brush as much as possible. I'm probably not doing this as like accurately or as like fast. What is that? I could probably be doing this a lot faster is what I'm trying to say. But I'm choosing to do it the long way, apparently. Tis be what it is. I have quite a bit of work to do too, and I should be doing it a little bit faster, but I don't want to take the floor. Do 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 do. I'm gonna have to anyways, I think. Boo! I think we need to move over there so I can double check that wall. How long have we been going? Hello! Oh wow, how is everyone? I hope you're having a nice day. I got a little sidetracked there. No joke. Well, I have it like 80 degrees in here, so. Oh, my tattoo? I have a tattoo. You guys don't like having it warm in your house? Do you like cold floors or something? What's wrong with you? You need warm floors. Oh, enchanté. Gracias. I got it on sale with one of their things at the store where they're like, get a watch and your new phone, and it's this price instead of this price for 18 months. I shouldn't have. I really shouldn't have. It was, you know, and here's the problem. It's like, literally, my brain said, do you need this? And I was like, no, but I want it. I want it so bad. And so I got it. And then like a couple months later, I started learning about like cobalt and all this stuff and realizing that I don't need to switch out my electronics as much as I have been doing. It's like keeping up with the Joneses kind of feels, you know? Wow. I'm sorry if I missed your guys' comments. This is kind of crazy on here. Cobalt? I know, right? What is that? You have Google. But simply it's just like a material in the world that is mostly in Africa that we've been mining for years with absolutely no effect on the earth or the people who live there whatsoever. Don't look into that. Don't listen to me. I'm a nobody. Yeah. Anyways, you guys should read a quantum book. Since you came in and you read my thing, you should totally. No, but I do. I like educating myself. And oof, I think activists are some of the most responsible and well-educated people. I think there's a few that are not, you know, that great, but I mean, there's bad apples in everything that ever happens in the world. I used to be, actually. I thought that was gonna help me because, like, I was having, like, issues with dairy and stuff like that. I was, like, getting really bloated, and I kept thinking I was pregnant, and then, like, I wouldn't poop for a long time. And I'd be like, what's happening to me? And so I stopped eating bread and meat and cheese. And I did a part of it. I finally actually did it because the girlfriend that I was dating at the time, who's my best friend now, she was having more problems with it than me. And I was like, well, if I continue this way, won't I just end up the same? So I decided to go vegan, and it helped. But it's really hard to maintain like a healthy diet as a vegan. Like, you need to really understand nutrients and what your body intakes and how it intakes that nutrients, because there's a lot of ways you can eat things where you just won't get any nutrients from them at all. So yeah, and then you got like, you just like get malnutritioned and stuff, and you start having problems staying awake. I didn't have any of those issues at all. Nope, not one. And that's not why I eat meat now. I went back because I missed bacon, okay? You can't judge me. You probably smoke. Fight me about it. Yeah, that's right. You tobacco smoker. Giving people secondhand smoke and stuff. What's your name? Sincroft. Yeah, you're definitely a tobacco smoker. Does it feel good? I bet it feels good when people do that to you. Because you do it to them and then you're like, maybe they'll do it back to me. Make me feel real happy on the inside. I just really wanted to make your day, so I hope you enjoyed. Anyways. This paint is just sitting here. I don't want to move you guys. I'm a baby. My body doesn't work like it did 10 years ago. And I'm getting dizzy every time I stand up because I have issues digesting iron. Wow. Enjoy. What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? Want. What do I want? What do I want? I want to fuck you in the face with my... Oh, I am online. Whoa, man. You are... Oh, I forgot my paint. Wow. Are you painters? Or did you come here for the quantum theory talk? What do you guys like to do? Because, like, I know you don't be reading the captions at all. I swear, you could write... I'm eating tortillas, and then you go on and someone would be streaming Genshin Impact, and I'm like, it's not the same thing. Do people actually, because like, I know I didn't, do people actually read what you like write, like this is about? Because I just don't feel like they do, because I don't. And so is it necessary? Do you need to put anything that brings you in? Oh, thank you, Julian. I appreciate that. It's gonna be like a, to my heritage. My family is from Norway. And my grandma just died. And her mom, no, her husband's mom came from Norway. And I can't remember where her mom came from. But I had stuff from them. And I was like, I was too young to memorialize them in my own way when the others died. So, you know, doing creepy weird stuff to remember people who are long gone and will be forgotten by everyone but me. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Okay. That's probably not time for the floor. Guys, if you ever choose to paint your own home, just know to be patient. It's a long process, and you're gonna repetitively find white spots where you swore you put paint. Get in there. Get in the crevice. Okay. I also need like a tiny light that comes down here with me so I can like see where all the specks are at. Okay, let's talk about some quantum theories. Anyways, I don't know if you guys know this, but like a lot of quantum theories are actually like multiple small chunks of someone's original quantum theory. So it's not like one person comes up with it. It's like multiple papers and research on these theories. And then they just wait for someone to come up with the technology to be able to test them, right? And so that's kind of what they did with quantum theory for the longest time. Is like, I think like in 18 something was like the first theory, but they didn't start doing any actual physical testing until like 1930, I think, 1920. I don't know, but it was a while. It was a flippin' while, right? And so I think that was like the great quantum debate you can hear of. You can find that. Anyways, I did so good on this one. Good job, Leah. Wow. Queen energy. Anywho, what was I saying? Stop doing that. Why do you interrupt yourself? Like, what does that even do? Like, when you interrupt yourself? Dang it, girl! Go make me a sandwich. Oh. Sandwich actually sounds good. Okay. But not like Subway sandwich. No. I'm talking like an Italian sandwich drenched in like dressing and olive oil. Salt and pepper. Mama. Yes. Yes. Okay. Stop being queer for a second and paint. Is that a thing? Can you stop being queer for a second? How do you guys know how long you've been on these things? Because all I know is I've been on here for a second. And this light, how do people sit behind these lights? I swear, people are streaming like 8, 12. I see people doing them, and maybe that's not regular for them, but they gotta be here at least like 4 to 8 hours a day, right? Maybe a couple days off. How you, like, this thing is bright. I mean, it does wonders. Check this out. Technology is beautiful. Do I wish this was Tesla and it didn't need a cord to the wall? Yes. Am I sad that someone stupider than the person who actually came up with it was the one who patented and sold the project? Yes. Am I sad that because of that there's been very little technological advance in it? Yes. Because if we had gone the other way, oh, sweet baby Jesus, that would have been great. But to some people, like the religion too much. It still kills
me that religious... Oh, by the way, I don't know if I said this after, because I know I said this one point, but I know I didn't finish the point. So after I found out that, like, a lot of, like, quantum theorists were religious before they got into it, it's funny because after they started learning math and theories and, like, just how the world's science is put together, right? They decided that they couldn't believe in science and God, but then continued with quantum theory in such a way that they proved that God was real. How do you do that? How do you start? You're like, I believe in God. And then you're like, oh, I'm learning science. There's no way God could still exist. And then, literally, and which, by the way, the book does state multiple times about, like, people making these theories and doing these research, that sometimes people are so focused on their one specific objective on why they started it that they kind of miss how important their research and their theory add-on and their, like, stuff was. Like, even they at the time didn't comprehend exactly what it was that they had discovered. And so I assume that that's kind of like how all of quantum theory has been, is that, like, at the time when they finished the quantum debates, that, not finished, but just, like, you know, not as intense, right? They decided that, in this time, right, they decided that based on how atoms worked, that God was real. They didn't call it that, but that is what they figured out. And I'm just like, how is it that we're kind of just learning about this stuff? What did they call it? What was the name that they called it? It was called the Ultima. What is the little blue caterpillar from Alice Wonderland's name called? Ultimum. Anyways, it's that guy's name. That is the name that they came up with for everything. All of it. And all of it is a conscious being of, like, self-understanding, capable of self-understanding. Here's the best part, is since I read the whole document, the CIA document that was released, as I'm reading this book, like, there's things that he said in the document that I didn't quite understand that now I'm starting to understand. And so I'm really hoping that as I'm doing these and I'm kind of releasing my thoughts and, like, everything, that somehow I'm going to be able to manage a video out of this that's coherent enough for other people to get the same thing without having to do as much reading as I'm doing. Because, like, I got, like, another 5 books I have to read. And this one alone is 10 hours, I think. Luckily it's an audiobook, right? But, like, still. And I think the majority of them are going to be that long audiobooks. Let alone if I can't find them as an audiobook, then I'm going to have to read them. I'm going to have to read some of them. I know it. I can feel it. But that's okay. I'm excited for it. I'm enjoying reading and doing all this research and stuff. And I'm not, like, all crazy, like, that's all I'm doing after I turn off the screen or once I get on. But, like, I am doing a decent amount of, like, research each day, like a couple hours, so. On top of that, like, job researching and painting this Airbnb and doing everything else that I'm doing in life, you know. The lively things that are keeping me going. Yay. Anywho, I think I'm done painting this section for now. I need to move back over, but I have to sand first. So let us turn off the lights. Lights! Camera! Ah! Don't look. Or I'll cut your fingers off. No, that's terrible. Why would you say that? Intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts. What a wonder it see. I'm just gonna get a straight up picture of my can. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not, but I'm sorry. Wait. The eyes. Okay. Not crazy. Crazy. Not crazy. Crazy. Not crazy. Crazy. Not crazy. Crazy. My eyes are so huge. I think this one's larger though. Yeah, definitely a little bit. Maybe just a stronger eyebrow muscle. Actually, that's the only one I can move. Maybe it's not the stronger eyebrow muscle. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry at all. Are you not entertained? Okay, anyways.
Blee, 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 blee. If you got an attitude, just go, bang, bang. I don't need you on this road, bang, bang. I'm gonna call my mama if you can't go. 'Cause if I call my daddy, you're for sure no. And if you ever want to save your little paintbrush, because you shouldn't wash them unless you know how to take care of them, because they're toxic to water, well, the paint is. You'll wrap it up in plastic and you throw it in the fridge, but not next to your food.
Unless you want to die a slow, painful death. Okay, sanding. Sanding. Can't even see what I'm doing down here. As you can tell, I'm not a fan of doing near the floor. I don't think anyone is. I should be wearing a mask. I should be wearing a mask, but I'm not going. You know, now I remember why I don't like streaming and sanding at the same time. Oh. I can't. That's fine. We're fine. We're gonna end it here then, and then I'll be back on tomorrow to paint more. Come join me. I'll have more about the quantum book. I'm totally gonna listen to that like all day when I'm not on here. So go get it. Go read it. I'll see you guys later. Bye.